Welcome to Series 3 and Episode 44 of the Riviera Firefly podcast, where we're starting proceedings off by talking to some people who are joining me supporting the Mimosa charity by putting together a Christmas fair. Up next, I have entrepreneur Melanie Gulliver, who co-founded The Clever Kitchen, but is actually here to talk about her new exciting venture. She's going to be joining me and sharing with you at the fair these new products that she's sourcing from Morocco. And as a thank you to her and to others that are going to be at the fair, I thought it would be nice to hear their stories and how they came to be doing what they're doing. Mark it in your calendars. Sunday, the 2nd of December 2018, Kiddoland Valeries. Come and have a look at some of our old style Christmas stands, some fresh and fun activities and games for all the family, and help support Mimosa. Come and buy your charity Christmas cards in aid of cancer research. Get some gorgeous wreaths for your house. There's mince pies, mulled wine, and beautiful little gifts, stocking fillers, and fun for all the family. If you'd like to volunteer your time and help with the organisation either in the run-up or on the day, please do get in touch. I'm not turning away any help at this point. So without further ado, let's roll. Right, that looks better. Are you there? I can see you're there, but you're...
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. Now that's working. How random. Mental. Right, we're going to have to speak in double speed now. What time have you got to get? I'm really sorry. That's so bizarre. I think
I haven't got anywhere to go. I'm sitting at my computer most of the afternoon, so...
Super. Alrighty. Well, I think it's because we had two meeting times and there must have been two meeting links. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah, and I logged on really early this morning thinking I'm going to get all prepared and be ready in case there's a technical issue here.
and the two technical people that are used to doing this can't manage to organise it. Brilliant. Typical. Alrighty, so what's going to happen is I'll record an intro that's separate to this, which will be like talking about the 2nd of December and everything like that. And let me just, what's that beeping? Shut down something to reopen to find all the messages. And I'm switched my phone to airplane, so that's good. Right, so you're on your computer. Yeah, I just, the Wi-Fi and stuff is so rubbish in this country. It all interferes.
I know. Wouldn't you think they would realise that they could do so much more better with business if they just upped and graded their Wi-Fi and internet and everything else?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, nice photo.
Yes. Right, okay, so then now that we're both on audio, hopefully rather than video, it will be a bit better quality. So what we're going to do is I will just let you talk. I'll try not to interrupt you when you're talking. And the idea is that you just tell us all about how you're starting up this new jewellery business. And now, is the website live yet?
It is live. There's not a lot on there. I have to upload more of the jewellery, but yes, it's live.
Okay.
It actually takes you through to a Shopify site immediately, so there's not a lot else really on the website at the moment. But
cool. And so, because I'll ask you what your email, what your web address is, yeah. And are you on things like Instagram and Facebook with it, or not yet? Okay.
Yes.
Facebook, cool. So that's it really. I reckon we'll just get started. If you start saying something that you think, oh, I didn't really want to say that, then just do a nice pause so there's editable space. And then go for it again.
Okay, and how long am I talking for? Or do I just carry on?
I'll just ask you some questions. I think if we can do about 15, 20 minutes max. That's
you are asking questions. It's not
yeah. No.
Right, got it.
All righty. Right, so welcome to the Riviera Firefly podcast. Mel, nice to hear you again.
Thank you very much, Antonia. Nice to hear you again too.
I was trying to think how we first got to know each other years ago. Do you know what? I suddenly remember what it was. We'd moved over here and I was looking for Guy Fawkes Day event and Googled it. And you were organising this event. If we came and picked some olives from the olive trees, then you put on fireworks tonight. Do you remember?
I do remember because I got quite a lot of strangers turning up to that event because they were all Googling Guy Fawkes events, I think. So it was interesting actually because I met neighbours down the road I'd never met before, and you and one of my best friends, Deborah. She turned up at that evening, I think, as well.
It was a great evening, and then we randomly discovered we'd been to the same primary school back in England.
Exactly, and that's Deborah as well. We were all three of us kind of brought up around Surbiton, Kingston upon Thames, and yeah, small world really.
It is. So what made you move down to the south of France?
Well, two reasons. I had already been visiting the south of France for holidays and really loved it. I inherited some money, which basically allowed me to give up my day job in London, which was as a chartered accountant at the BBC. And I decided that I needed more sunshine in my life. And of course, France, the south of France at least, offers quite a lot of that. So I just decided to move down here permanently. And so I set up a wine business initially, quite a few years ago now. I've been here for nearly 20 years now. And I've had various businesses, and we're here to talk about my latest venture.
The word entrepreneur was really written for you, wasn't it? Because yeah, you had the wine business. You've got, what's the food business is called?
Yeah, the food business, which is I'm still working in with my partner Susan Tomasini. It's called The Clever Kitchen. We provide healthy nutritional workshops. We're about to start some retreats, which we'll be posting about soon. And yeah, just doing healthy food basically, gluten-free, dairy-free.
Yeah, and I think you're really sort of blazing a path there because now people are talking about gluten-free, but you've been doing it for years. And
yeah, we've been going for 5 years. Susan was primordial in doing that because she is a qualified nutritionist, and she says that although most people don't realize it, 70% of people have some level of intolerance to gluten. The modern day gluten, not necessarily our ancestors in previous days. And so we just decided that we would make everything gluten-free and show people that they could still have interesting food on their plates and interesting bread on their table when it didn't have to have gluten in it. And actually, even though I don't have to, I now pretty much make everything gluten-free just because I like experimenting and it seems natural to me now.
I love how you've just embraced this, and then on the fitness side, you're incredible to watch on like Facebook and Instagram because you just are so sporty. Kite surfing being one of your latest things that you seem to have got into. So, and this has kind of led into this next business, hasn't it? The kite surfing.
It has. Yes, if anybody does follow me on Instagram or Facebook, they'll see that over the past year and a half, maybe now, I've been heading off to Morocco fairly frequently. Initially, I started trying to do surfing, and then because I went to Essaouira and I really loved it, there it's much more about kite surfing. So I decided, okay, I'm going to learn kite surfing, even though I'd heard how difficult it was. So I've been working with one guy in particular in Essaouira, and then I also went down and did a week in Dakhla in the south of Morocco, which was really excellent for beginners. And now I can actually stand up pretty easily. And so I've just got to improve my skills, and then maybe I start jumping a little bit. But it's thrilling and really exciting. And it's obviously something that you can do down here some of the time, not as regularly perhaps as in Morocco with the wind situation. But I love the sea, so it gives me something to do as an alternative to just swimming, which I do a lot of already.
And is it better over in the VAR? Is it more? Do you get sort of more regular
I'm told
wind there?
Fridges is a good place to go to. It's not just about the wind. I mean, obviously that's the main factor you do need, but it's also having a suitable place to start and kind of land at the end. I'm told a lot of the places just around here, where I am, just down at Cannes and that, they're not necessarily that suitable for beginners because they're quite narrow, quite a lot of rocks. You don't really want that.
No.
Unless you're very good at controlling where you're going with your kite. You don't really want that. So,
how different is
I think
it?
that's one of the reasons to go to Fridges, basically.
How different as a sport is it to windsurfing?
I'm probably not the best person to ask that question of, because I only ever did a few windsurfing classes, literally when I was back in England. So we're talking like 25 years ago. I think there's some similarity in it. I think, to be honest, that kite surfing probably is easier. It's much lighter. Once you're up and standing, you're going basically. You don't really have to be holding on hard, none of that, which I seem to remember with windsurfing, you did have to. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really done a lot of windsurfing, so it's hard for me to compare the two.
And so while you were in Essaouira, which is also known as the Windy City, I seem to recall from my time there,
Yes.
you stumbled across all the glorious markets and things. Is that how you discovered your next business activity?
Partly, yes. Obviously, being in the food industry, I'm always interested to go into the spice shops and the herb shops in Morocco. And so I met this guy called Adnan, who's a really good friend now, in a spice shop. And we were talking, and he invited me to go and have dinner with his family. And from that, I guess we got into talking more about what could be done in Essaouira to help the local people. And one of their main traditions is actually silver jewelry making. And I'd seen some lovely pieces of jewelry around, and it just kind of developed from there as to, well, what can I take back easily to France that I could maybe sell, make money, and also contribute back to the people of Essaouira and help them. And that's really how the idea started. And so I've just literally been working on it for a couple of months, but not full time at all, because obviously I've still got the food business, and just trying to get things moving. And with Christmas coming up and you holding your Christmas fair, it seemed a perfect opportunity to properly launch Saweira Silver onto the Côte d'Azur market.
And I was thrilled because I love those cuffs. I saw those silver cuffs that when you first came back the other day. So when you wrote to me, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great to have the kind of a kitchen. And then you were like, actually for jewelry, I was like, yay, that's perfect. Because we're really looking for things that are just that bit different, that that aren't on all the Christmas markets and things. So
Yeah.
2nd of December, which is a Sunday, we're going to be hosting the Christmas market here at Kidderland. And we're doing it in aid of Mimosa. So rather than paying me for stall space and stuff, what we've asked is that everyone gives the money to Mimosa. And that's gone down really well, actually. Everyone seems really inspired to help Mimosa. And I think you're doing even more than just a Christmas fair, aren't you? What have you got coming up for Mimosa?
I am. On the 4th of November, I will be running my 4th full marathon in aid of Mimosa. I haven't run them all for Mimosa, but this will be the 3rd one I've run for Mimosa. So I've been involved with them for a while now. I mean, they're an amazing bunch of ladies who set it up, local ladies. Obviously, I think everybody must have someone who's been affected by cancer in their family or in their friends. And they're just a really fun group of people to be inspired by, and also to help raise money for cancer charities in the area.
Yeah, no, they really are. And I actually interviewed Ellie and Karen Hockney in a previous episode, which I'll link in the show notes. So if anyone wants to go back and hear what they're all about, they can listen to that. So you're obviously going off on a buying trip very soon to Essaouira. So you'll be coming back fully laden with jewellery. And we can't wait to see it. So just tell me about how easy it's been to set up this whole new kind of business, so quite a product type business. Have you said that you've got a website now? What's that called?
I do have a website. It's called saweira.com. Now, it's not spelt the same as the actual town. I messed around a bit, but it's spelled Saweira, so saweira.com. In terms of setting it up, initially I was going to set it up as an online business. I think the main problem has been finding enough funds to buy enough silver to have a decent selection, but that will grow over time. And what I actually did was I did a running camp in America in the summer. So I took my first collection of silver over to this running camp, and I actually sold quite a lot of it. So I definitely need to refill my paddy, shall we say, my selection. But apart from that, I found it fairly easy because I set up a Shopify site with the help of my 14-year-old son, who actually happened to do a stage on a Shopify site in his school last year. So that was all very easy. And then it's really just a case of uploading the photos, making sure we've taken good photos, setting up the PayPal. So in that sense, it's been easy. And now it's more a case, I suppose, of the marketing side and trying to find potential buyers. But I've really enjoyed it because I've also been working with, purely by chance, there's this famous cafe in Essaouira called the Café Idris. Go there, have my coffee and maybe a pastry each day. And it's full of artworks by loads of different artists, most of whom you don't know who they are because you can't see their names or anything. And one day on the wall above me, there was this little drawing of a camel, and underneath it, there was this little card, and it was an artist called Caroline Bentbib. And so I thought, I'm going to contact her and get her to do some drawings for my new silver business. So she's done all these beautiful doors, which are another of my passions in Essaouira, and will be attaching one of those little cards with a little saying by Rumi as well to each of the silver pieces that we sell. I've just designed some boxes to put the jewellery in as well, using some of those artworks. So it's kind of just been really nice dealing with individuals and meeting people who are making the silver as well, learning about their lives. It's just a small way of finding out a lot more about these people in Morocco and their lifestyles, I guess.
Well, absolutely. And what a great way to embrace your creativity side as well. I think that we, especially coming from a chartered accountant background, which I don't always sort of think of that.
Yeah, most people when I was a chartered accountant said to me, you don't seem like a typical chartered accountant. So I think I just did it because I was good at maths and it seemed the obvious thing to do. But yeah, I'm definitely a bit more of a creative soul, I think, than being.
You're having a total rebirth these last 5 years.
Yeah, although it has to be said, it is useful to have the business background for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, you did. I also met you in networking groups, PWN. Are they kind of things that you still would recommend to people that are sort of starting out?
Definitely recommend PWN, which is a professional women's network. It's fantastic for meeting people who are probably in a similar situation to you or who have already been through what you're going through, especially if you're starting out. You can get a lot of advice. They have a lot of contacts. They have a fantastic mentoring scheme. So yes, without a doubt, I would recommend that. I know also you won the Business Person of the Award, Business Person of the Year award last year with the Riviera Business Club. I think that's another fantastic opportunity for people to learn about setting up in business. They've got good links with the CCI down here. I think there's quite a lot. I think the main problem many people have is the language if they come over and they don't particularly speak French. And I think that's where, by joining one of these networks, you will get assistance with understanding the way to do things in France and be put in contact with, French accountants, French lawyers, but who also speak English or whatever your language may be. So definitely recommend joining a professional network if you can.
Yeah, totally agree. It transforms your business, and it puts you, if you're working for yourself, it puts you with other people that are working for themselves because you haven't got a boss. And that's kind of a really important network to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just need someone to bounce ideas off, or you just feel very lonely if you're working on your own. And it gives you, at least with the Professional Women's Network, that they have at least 3 lunches a month. They often have an evening event once a month. So you know that you can go to those events and meet other people, have a good discussion, learn something probably, and also walk away with some contacts who you can talk to on a future basis about any issues you might have. So I always think entrepreneurs need a support network, especially if they're working in a foreign country, probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's tough. So tell me about the Côte d'Azur. I know that you're well travelled here on the Côte d'Azur. What's your top tip for people to discover the Côte d'Azur this winter?
Well, I think if you've got any part of you that's a little bit sporty, I would always say go to the Estoril Hills. I enjoy running there. You're up above Cannes. It's not very far out of Cannes. It's just above Théoul. You have the most amazing views if you climb up over the coast. Often you won't see anyone. On the weekends, you might see a few walkers up there, but if you go in the week, you won't see anyone. And I just find it's surprising how close to nature you can be when you're kind of in the middle of the Côte d'Azur. Just get away from it all and enjoy the sun and the sea and the views, etc.
And are you a big reader? Are you someone that would go down to the beach and read, or?
I don't often read at the beach anymore. I am a big reader. I mean, I was known for reading throughout my childhood. I would kind of sneak the light on when my parents had gone to bed and carry on reading and probably get about 4 hours sleep a night. But now I have to say, actually reading novels, I still do read the occasional novel, but most of the time I have my head stuck in my latest cookery book or maybe a inspirational running book or something like that. So I
What's
have
a good one that
collection.
you'd recommend for a Christmas list?
Well, I'm going to recommend a cookery book.
Yeah.
And it's a regular cookery book, so it's not specialized diet or anything. It's the latest book by Yotam Ottolenghi, and it's called Simple. So Yotam Ottolenghi is a very good chef in London. He's got quite a few restaurants there. He has, I would say, revolutionized the way people have eat in London in the last probably 10 years. He came over from Jerusalem with another, well, he didn't come with him. They met in London, but they're both from Jerusalem. Another chef as well called Sami, and they have just created dishes which have got so much flavor in them, using a lot of Middle Eastern spices. I think Middle Eastern Lebanese food is probably my favorite overall. And this book, he's got several books that he's brought out over the last 5-6 years, but this book is kind of making it really simple. That's why it's called Simple. So I belong to a Facebook group. There's over 3,000 of us. It's called the Yotam Ottolenghi Housewives Group. And there are men in it too. And we all post about the recipes we're cooking and eating and enjoying. And this book, Simple, has got people going quite crazy because they're all talking about how easy it is now to make these recipes nearly every night if you want to.
That is music to my ears, because you may know this, but I really don't like being in the kitchen anymore because it takes so long, and I just feel my time could be better spent elsewhere.
Well, you might like some of his other books because there's plenty more. They're vegetarian because I know you're vegetarian.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But Simple has a lot of vegetarian food in it too, so yeah.
Brilliant. Top tip. Okay, I'm going to finish up with some quick fire questions for you. So you just have to tell me which one's more you. Are you more tea or coffee?
Herbal tea.
Yeah, me too. Are you more morning or night?
Morning.
Snow or sea?
Yes.
What's your favourite vegetable?
Beetroot.
And have you got a favourite restaurant?
That's a very clever one. Well, because I'm 99% vegan, I'm going to have to go with Coco Green in Nice, which is a vegan and raw restaurant pretty much in Nice.
Sounds delicious. And what could you not live without?
I'm going to say my family.
Oh, that's a nice answer. And finally, what skill would you like to master in 2019?
I want to be able to bake bread every single time that's perfect.
It can be hit and miss sometimes, can't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm developing my recipe collection as well. So, bread collection kind of grows all the time. So, yeah.
Mel, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see all the new stock on the 2nd of December. Remind us again of your website.
It's called saweira.com, and that's spelled Saweira. And we're also on Facebook with the name Saweira and on Instagram with Saweira Silver. And I look forward to seeing you on the 2nd of December with my glistening beauties.
Super. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you, Antonia.